Hey guys, Magnetoka here, and welcome to the next video covering our Xbox soft mod. This is for the original Xbox. If you guys have been following along, thank you so much for watching the videos. On this particular video, we are going to go ahead and cover a lot of the software that we'll install into our system, into our computer. I know I had you guys install a FTP server of sorts, whether if it was Mozilla or WinSCP. I also had you guys on the last video burn a copy of Rocky 5, the extras disc, but I didn't really explain why. So this video is going to cover that. That way we can future-proof our Xbox as far as the soft modding aspect goes, and also it protects our Xbox in case anything happens to it, whether the hard drive dies or anything of the sort. So thank you guys for joining me. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take our Rocky 5 disc that we burned. If your Xbox is soft modded successfully, it should read a DVD. Even if it's a burnt one, it should be able to read straight into the Rocky 5. So let's go ahead and hop in there. Once you put your disc into your Xbox and start it up, this should be the screen you appear to, and there's going to be a couple options here, not a lot of them, but basically there's just a bunch of applications that this extra disc has that you can install, and a lot of them are pretty useful, like this dashboard or dash loader customizer. Okay, that one I haven't messed with, I'll admit it. Number two, DVDX to Xbox. This is another program that lets you install discs into your Xbox. That way you don't need the disc, you can just play the game discs off the hard drive, which is kind of nice. Unleash X, which is the one soft mod program that we basically run our Xbox around, that already has that, so I don't recommend really installing it unless you just want to try something different, or maybe you're having issues installing the current game you're trying to install. It's always good to have a backup like this. DVDX version 2, this lets you play pretty much any DVD out there from any region, so it's kind of like a region unlocker for DVDs. It's kind of nice. The EEPROM backer-upper, don't really mess with that since we already have a backup of our EEPROM, but if you need another one and you can't find it, that would be not a terrible idea to have, but I would definitely skip on that if you know that you already backed it up. If you followed my instructions from the last videos, you have it backed up, trust me. Enigma, I don't really mess with this program either, but the one I do mess with is going to be NKPatcher. I definitely recommend installing this because we're going to be messing with it again on in this very same video. We're actually going to hop into it once we're done with this extras disc. So go ahead and install that. Zord Beanie, it's up to you guys. This is just a cheat device, so it kind of adds infinite life or infinite health to games. It's kind of like a trainer of sorts. So if you guys like doing that kind of stuff, I'm not going to frown upon you. I have it installed. I've messed with it for fun. So that's a really cool program to have as well. But if we back up here, the one program that we should definitely install is going to be the Microsoft dashboards here under the dashboards information. These other dashboards, these are other dashboards that you can install, kind of like the Unleash X is the one we're using right now. If you want to try a different one, there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But we're not going to mess with that for this particular video. We're going to go to Microsoft dashboards. We're going to go to a stock Microsoft dashboard and just follow the prompts and make sure you install this. What this does is that it gives us an opportunity to actually go back and go to a stock original Microsoft dashboard, that green one, the cool one. Like if you didn't have a soft modded Xbox, it gives us an opportunity to actually go to that, and it adds the sounds to our current dashboard as well. So I highly recommend installing this either way. So go ahead and do that and follow the prompts. Okay, so once you have that installed, good job. We're pretty much done with this program for the time being right now. All the applications that we need should be installed at this particular moment. If you want to switch your dashboard, that's up to you. The only other option that I really recommend having or this disk for at this point is going to be to default factory state. So what this does is this removes all the soft mods. It basically sets your Xbox back to a factory state, whether you're selling it to a buddy or you just don't want the soft mod anymore. It is super important to hang on to this disk to have this particular option. So I highly recommend having this. Advanced applications. The only other one that I would recommend 100% for you to install right now is Chimp. So make sure you follow the prompts to install that. We absolutely must have it if you want to do a hard drive upgrade in the future as well. So make sure you install that. The other ones I don't really mess with right now, but if you know what they are, you know what you're doing, make sure you install those off the extras disk. Other than that, all these other tools, we are basically done at this particular moment. So we can go ahead and turn off our Xbox, take out our disc, our extras disc, put it aside somewhere safely. And now we can go ahead and boot up to our SoftMod screen so we can go ahead and mess around with some of these particular programs that we just downloaded. So now that we're back to our dashboard on our Xbox here, this is the particular skin that I chose to go with for now, just because it's green. The blue one is still my favorite one, but for now, let's go ahead and just go to applications. As you can see, I installed the chimp loader, NK Patcher. There's the original Xbox dashboard that you installed just now from the extra disc, and then there's the Zord trainer, which is kind of like the cheats. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go into the NK Patcher settings. Okay, so this, as you can see, gives you a lot more information as far as your Xbox goes. This is definitely more advanced setting items here. You can change your fan speed. You can partition your hard drive a little bit more. You can choose which kernel font you want to use. I mean, it gets pretty in depth. So what I would do is, unless you know exactly what you're doing, I would not mess with any of these whatsoever. But we are going to do EEPROM. We're going to go to advanced features. And what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and unlock our hard drive. Right now, our hard drive is locked to our Xbox with a numerical code of sorts. You know, it could be up to 12 digits. I don't remember how many it is. But if your hard drive dies, you need to have that number. That way you can install a new hard drive with that number. And it could be a pain in the butt sometimes. So what I like to do is go to this option here and basically just turn our entire numerical code into just ones. And that makes it really easy to change hard drives in the future, okay? So we're gonna go to hard drive. We're gonna go to change the EEPROM H or the hard drive key. It's gonna ask you that it's gonna unlock it. It's gonna change the code to all ones, and then it's gonna relock the hard drive, okay? So it's gonna do all the work for you. I would just hit yes. The master password will be set to Team Assembly, all capital letters. Hit okay. So here, as you can see, it's unlocking the hard drive. It's going to do all the work for you. It's going to change the entire password. The numerical code I was talking about is going to turn it to all ones. And once it's done updating the code to all ones, it's going to lock your hard drive again. Which is kind of nice. Good news is, once it's done, it's going to create a backup of that brand new EEPROM with all ones, and that's the one we're going to save to our computer here in just a moment. As far as everything goes, we're pretty much done. So I'm going to go ahead and hit left trigger, right trigger, black button, and back. Okay, so now that we're back to our regular screen, we can go ahead and hop into our computer now. So let's go ahead and hop in there. So whether you decided to install FileZilla or WinSCP, go ahead and start that program now. You're going to go ahead and do new site. On your Xbox, if it's still on, just make sure you take that particular IP address from it. I would definitely write it down. You need to have the Xbox on anyway in order for this to work. So make sure your Xbox is on. Get the IP address from it. Once you open up your program, I would change this to FTP. You would type in the IP number here, and the username is going to be Xbox all lowercase, and then the password is going to be Xbox all lowercase as well. So once you connect here, it's going to ask me for the password again, Xbox all lowercase, and you'll have basically free reign of your entire hard drive at this point. So the first thing I would do is, the C drive, that's where your actual dashboard is installed. So we really don't have to mess with anything here at all. But the E drive, this is where your applications are installed. This is your chimp drive, chimp, and your Microsoft dashboard. You have your Zord Mini, your NK Patcher, everything that we install application wise goes here. And then our backups, this is the big one. This is your EEPROM. So now I would take this and just drag it out to your screen, and it'll create a copy of your EEPROM that you can safely store anywhere on your computer. So that's number one. This is the big one here, and you can actually check it out here. I'm gonna go ahead and open this Xbox info real quick. Give it a second. So just to cover up my particular MAC address and all that online key stuff, I am looking at the Xbox hard drive key here, and it is changed all the way to ones, and it's more than 12 digits. I mean, this is like 24 digits that I'm looking at here, so pretty cool. I have the EEPROM. Make sure you put that somewhere safe, and we're good to go with that. So the other thing I want to talk to you guys about before I end this video, because we pretty much have everything installed that we need to make this actually work. One of the programs that I highly recommend is going to be a program called it's called XDVD Emulator. And this is the program that you use, or that I would use at least, to basically install disk drive games to your hard drive. So as you can see, there's the guy with the mullet. The latest version is beta 10. I'm trying to find a good link for you guys that doesn't lead to, like, you know, anything fishy, but this program is kind of buried at this moment, but it's like the #1 program, I would say. So basically this lets you turn your Xbox files into a DVD. It also lets you turn Xbox DVDs into like a folder, so it's so you can copy it into your actual hard drive itself. Because if I go to my hard drive right now and I go to like my F drive is like solely just for games. So I just put a folder there called games. There's Halo Combat Evolved, and as you can see, it's not the disk, it's just a bunch of files. So here I have a copy of Halo Combat Evolved. It is in an ISO form. This will not work if I were to copy it into my Xbox hard drive at this particular moment. So with this particular program here, I'm gonna go ahead and just create a new folder here because I think it needs one. So I'm gonna go ahead and set it next to the Xbox there. We're gonna go ahead and extract/browse files in ISO. We're gonna choose the Halo Combat Evolved ISO that I have. If something goes wrong, or it's not like a good version or a bad version, it'll tell you. Like, I don't know how it knows, but it tells you that Halo loaded successfully. Hit next. It'll tell you what files are going to be extracted. Hit extract all. It'll ask you where you want to do it. I'm just going to put it in this new folder here. Hit OK. And as you can see, it starts extracting the files from the game, or from the disk itself, straight into this folder that we created here. So it should take just another moment here. It does work pretty fast, which is the one thing I really enjoy about this particular program here. But once it's done, I can even open this right now, and I can show you guys here that everything is installing here. So now that we're done with that, we can go ahead and close this up. We can take all of these files. We can create a folder in our games folder called Halo, or Halo Combat Evolved. You are able to go ahead and add dashes or all that good stuff there. Halo Combat Evolved. You can take all of these files here and just drag them into this, and you should be able to boot it. So I already have a copy. Once you have that installed and you FTP'd into your system, let's just go ahead and head back to our system just so we can go ahead and take a look. All right, so from here, from the Unleash X menu, we can launch the disk, but we don't have a disk inside. We don't have to mess with applications or emulators, but if you go to games, as you can see, Halo is right there for us to play. So we have our homebrews, we don't have any of that. We can mess with any of our settings, but as you can see, the disk is not even in my system right now. Never put it in there. And you can just go ahead and just hit X, or A, I'm sorry, A, sorry. Millions of controllers, video game controllers out there. I get confused sometimes. There you go. No disk required. Pretty awesome. So I'm hoping that covered a little bit more information as far as how to go ahead and use your Xbox and back up some of the more important items, have programs that we will need for the future for a particular video that we'll be working on very soon. So, and I even covered how to install games that you might have gotten from the internet, you know, what have you, doesn't matter. We covered it. Hopefully that takes care of you guys. At this particular point, the only thing you guys are missing is a larger hard drive. Like, you have pretty much everything else to run this system. You know, install games, take care of your system in case something were to happen in the future. But the one thing I know we need for sure is a larger hard drive, because I know Xboxes came in an 8 GB and a 20 GB, and that is nowhere near enough to install games. You'd be like installing a game or two, playing it, uninstalling it, reinstalling another one, and it's just a pain in the butt. So next video, hard drive video. Let's go. Until then, I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.